In undergrad, I took lots of psychology courses and liked it, and then made that my major, and then found out that in order to have a career in psychology, you have to go to graduate school.
So a PhD, I really wanted to continue doing research. I got involved in research in undergrad.
Actually, since high school, I was fascinated with trying to change the world or do something. And then I always liked science fiction. So watching science fiction movies, I always wanted to, be like the hero, be the guy who...
Well, I was a double major in undergrad with economics and French, and I hated sitting at the computer, so I decided not to do economics.
So I decided on doing economics because when I was in high school, there was this big recession in Colombia, and...
Well, if I get a PhD in clinical psych, maybe I can help create services for those kids or develop programs for kids who aren't receiving it in the community. So I guess that's kind of how I got here.
It was a tough time applying to graduate school. Very much like self-doubting every other day of oh, do I really want to go to grad school? Do I not want to go to grad school? People say, oh, you shouldn't go if you're not really sure. But then it's and there's a lot of self-criticism and stuff. And
well, my mom always thinks I'm wearing a white lab coat wherever I go around when I'm like, oh, I'm working in the lab. And she's like, do you need to bring your white lab coat home to get dry cleaned? I'm I don't wear a white lab coat, Mom. I didn't have that picture of a PhD program. I knew it would be a lot of hard work. I'd been told that you go through a process where you're broken down and then you rebuild yourself back up, which I guess is kind of true. I guess I didn't realize how little positive feedback you'd get. That's really hard.
I'm on a chapter right now that's not going well. And I gave it to my 2 advisors a couple weeks ago, and they gave it back, and they were like, this is not going well. And it's been tough because they don't ever say it's going well, right? You either get nothing, keep moving forward, or this isn't good. And this is my first this isn't good. Which was...
When I came here, I thought I was pretty confident as an undergrad, but then I realized the competition is fierce. Then I had at least 2 years where I switched topics in research, and that was kind of dead time. So I had to find my project, and that was kind of scary because, 2 years, day in, day out, you're reading a lot of papers and trying to come up with something, but you kind of feel like you should have been giving it something.
Oh my God, at the beginning of grad school, one maladaptive thought I had was, oh my God, the department wishes they never would have accepted me. I got in here by accident. There's no way I should be here. How did they let me in? I don't belong here.
The way it works with the comprehensive exams is you have 2 chances. So I failed 2 out of 3. That moment was very hard for me. It made me think, okay, maybe this is a sign that I'm not good for a PhD. What made me continue anyways was the fact that still this is my dream, first. And second, that I knew that research ability is not perfectly correlated with your ability to perform exams.
Well, I kept coming up with backup plans. So before our second year review, which is our first big test, I decided I could just move to France and marry a Frenchman and, never have to work again. That was plan B for a while.
Even when I get depressed, I have to think of this research kind of like war. So, if I see myself and I'm overwhelmed and, I won't let myself spend too much time feeling depressed so it's kind of like that little drill sergeant mentality. It's okay, get up, get up, get up. This is war. Keep running. You fell, you broke your leg. Well, keep running with a broken leg. There's other people that are going to take what you're going after if you don't run fast enough.
I don't know, just kind of a thought of we're going to make this work somehow. It's not optimism. It's just sort of a blind devotion to seeing something through. That, in my mind, it's not an option to drop out. It's not an option to switch labs. And that's kept me going. I'm not going to make any claims to that is the most healthy approach to any situation. I've gotten a lot of support from my family, my mom especially. And that's helped a ton. And I've used a lot of the counseling and psychology services at CAPS. And that's helped me a lot.
I guess I've learned that I actually do have a lot of grit, or I think we're all resilient, right? Like when you get your PhD or when you pass your quals or whatever, like you're a resilient person. You got through that hellish time, which I feel like when you're in the midst of it, you're like, there's no way I'm going to get through this. Like I'm just going to like die in my sleep or something of exhaustion and anxiety.
There is this, if you see my teeth, you will see that this teeth is a little bit incomplete. This is because when I was in the first year, in the end, I was very stressed because I thought I would not pass those exams. So I started to brush, to do like this with my teeth, to create friction between my teeth during the nights. There was one day that I woke up to study, and I felt I had had a great night. Like I had so much rest. I was so happy. Then I went to wash my teeth, and I noticed that I was missing like probably 1/3 of my teeth, of one tooth. Yeah. So now every time I go and see myself in the mirror, okay, I have passed through hard times, and this is like a scar that tells me, look, you've done it. You can do it again.
Definitely, I became more confident and more self-reliant in the sense that I feel like if I'm the only person in the world who has to get the project done, then I'll still succeed.
Try to keep different hats of personal matters and science matters. Be self-critical when you're in science, but like be self-compassionate in other areas of life.
It's so hard.
It's very hard, yeah.
Learn to maybe accept or sit with the joy or like the pride that you have when, like how good it feels to do something well or to get that positive feedback, and really allow myself to sit in that and experience it, because there's so much negative and there's so much crap in grad school that doesn't make you feel good, that when you get something like that does make you feel good, really cherishing it and allowing yourself to experience it and then holding on to that so you can access it later on when you're having a hard time.
Realizing that I can't be productive all the time was very helpful. Understanding how I work was probably the biggest accomplishment I have made. Understanding that I work in these weird spurts of energy.
Someone gave me really, really good advice about PhD programs, and I can't remember what it was. I wrote a Facebook post about it. I'll have to email it to you. I'll find it. It was a woman I TA'd for, and she just said, like, it was something so simple. It wasn't like just get it done. But does it have to be an audio clip?
You can check it now.
Let me check it and see if I can find it. I posted it because I just had never thought about it before, but it was about like getting your dissertation done. Oh, if you don't give up, you'll get your doctorate. That's what it was.
I like that.
Yeah, most obvious yet best piece of advice I've received regarding grad school. If you don't give up, you'll get your doctorate. It's true.